Welcome back to... Yeah, I'm not going to apologise for the title. Sorry, it's not even clickbait. I back it. Comment, call me a loser. I don't care. Helps the algorithm, frankly. Of course, I would be buzzing if Arsenal won the Premier League. I'd probably cry. But, and this is with the caveat that we don't absolutely capitulate in our remaining games and fail to take advantage of a City loss, for example. If we don't, I won't be upset if Arsenal come second and City win the league next Sunday or before. Call it copium all you want. This is why. I grew up in the era of United and Arsenal's Premier League dominance. Born in 1997, my early football memories are of my dad, a United fan, and me, an Arsenal fan, watching a proper rivalry. Keown and Van Nistelrooy, the fight in the tunnel, Wenger being sent to the stands, and my dad's favourite, Giggs' 1999 semi-final goal. In the span of 7 years, there were 3 titles for us and 4 for them. It puts the Pep, open brackets, and Klopp, close brackets era to shame. But things move on. And in recent times, as we know, both Arsenal and United, in their own ways and on their own timelines, have been striving to get back to those heights of the past. United's dominance lasted a while longer, of course, until Fergie's departure in 2013, but since then there's been that potent desire for a return to the glory days with every passing manager and era.
Good night!
And Arsenal, of course, haven't won the league since 2004. From about 2006 onwards, despite some FA Cup wins and multiple second and third place finishes, there's been this similar feel of a desire to return to something. With that in mind, watching United's lifeless, flaky 4-0 loss against Crystal Palace on Monday, as I sought to see what to expect from them this Sunday, something hit me. That could have been us. In fact, that was us. Maybe not to the same level, but we were, not 4 or 5 years ago, a mismanaged, disconnected, disorganised, passionless, tacticless, rudderless, leadershipless mess, languishing outside of Europe, hoping beyond hope to get back to the glory days. But we have made that long-fabled, long-desired return to the top, and they have not. What hit me was this so easily could have been us. Players playing with the weight of the past on their shoulders, supported by a fan base who deserve better. And watching it makes me all the more grateful for what's going on at Arsenal right now. Because let's be clear, a few different decisions, and we'd be playing out our own version of the United death spiral. So, how have we gone this way while they've gone that way? Well, you know the story pretty well by now, but it's in no small part down to one man. Managers, and crucially fits for clubs like Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, don't come along very often. He's not one of the bottle, as Jose Mourinho might have put it. And we have to realise how lucky we are to have found him one managerial appointment after our version of Ferguson, while United go through new manager after new manager. The timing just worked in our favour, and the stars aligned. A recent video featuring Arteta from TNT Sports really tugs at the heartstrings. A lovely young Arsenal fan named Emmanuel from North London United, a charity that brings the joy of football to young people with Down syndrome in North London, is given the opportunity to ask questions to the boss. Nothing I say here is going to do it justice. Just go and watch it. But watch the emotional intelligence from Arteta to put this young man at ease. The body language, the investment, the care, and the time he gives him for such a busy guy, all in his second language, by the way. It gives you a measure of the man we have at the helm. It's incredibly heartwarming. We know we have someone special on the pitch, but moments like this give us that inside view into who he is as a person, beyond the football, and the connection he has to the club and the community. There's a huge team and many components that make Arsenal what it is right now, but one day we are going to realise how unique it was to find a coach of his quality, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch, as the figurehead and emotional core of the club, one appointment after Wenger. This is an Arsenal manager. More on that later. Because, nice as all that is, none of it matters if you're not winning. But we are. This position of fortune and alignment is shown in just how well coached we are and how well managed we are off the pitch, a stark contrast to the United team we meet on Sunday. We've had 76 shots on target against us all season, best in the league. We've had 1,392 touches in the opponent's penalty box, best in the league. We have more clean sheets than Chelsea and United have wins. We've scored the most and conceded the least goals, won the most games, and we're on a 103-point pace in 2024. Better than our 100-point pace at the beginning of 22-23. Off the field, our commercial revenues continue to climb to increase our spending power. Squad building wise, the average age of our top 15 most used players this season is 25.6. And on average, excluding Raya and Jorginho for now, as we don't know what the deal length will be, our 15 most used players have 3.15 years left on their deals. By every single important metric you can find me, Arsenal are back at the big table. We're back in the conversation. We're back where, since 2006, we wanted to be. Interview any Arsenal fan during that fallow period, and this is all we wanted. We just wanted to be challenging again, competing again. We wanted to see ourselves represented in the team, to see them care as much as we do. We wanted to feel that we're going somewhere, that there might be hope for the future. And there's so much. Is there a team with a project over the last few years, for want of a better word, not a giant like Madrid or Bayern, that seems better set than Arsenal to have a spell at the top of the game over the next 3 to 5 years? Leverkusen, maybe, if Alonso stays? A clip went round a while ago of Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville analysing Arsenal's loss away at Newcastle in the back end of 21-22. In it, they suggest that Arsenal, quote, have had their opportunity to get back to the big time of Champions League, and moving forward it will cause Arsenal, quote, a big problem. As if our front four on the night wasn't 23-year-old Ødegaard, 23-year-old Nketiah, 20-year-old Saka, and 21-year-old Smith Rowe. As if we couldn't spend any more money in the summer. As if the manager wouldn't learn. They were speaking like football ended that season. Everyone, go home. It's over. And it's ironic because the same thing's happening now, just under a different guise. The ceiling on this project isn't close to being touched, and people want to write it off. We're still going to be good next season because what we're good at is sustainable. Coaching, player quality, good characters. In fact, we'll be better, I predict. And nothing that happens in these final 2 games can change that trajectory. So all in, guys, look around. No one else at a club like Arsenal is in our position. And I don't think we stop enough to realise just how good the times are right now. Let's say you're lucky and you live 100 years. How often are Arsenal going to be competing for the biggest trophies in the best league in the world in your lifetime? I hope a lot. But you never know. But let's come back to the present for a second, because all of that might still not be enough. If Arsenal win all their remaining games, they will finish second on 89 points. There's only been 2 times the second place team has ever achieved more points than that since Arsenal's last win in 03-04. Liverpool's 21-22 team with 92 points and their 18-19 team with 97. United's loss on the final day to City on goal difference in 11-12 was also 89 points, if we're being pedantic. 89 points wins you the league or matches the winners 11 times over the last 20 years. However, if City win their remaining games, none of that matters. Not to go Statman knock on you, but it's the best way of putting it across. City are currently on their longest ever unbeaten run in all competitions, as they don't count the Madrid game as a loss for some reason. They're unbeaten since the 6th of December 2023. So that's the best manager of all time, in my opinion, with the best Premier League team of all time, again, in my opinion, on their best ever run. And we're trying to beat them. If they win it, they deserve it, because they would have had to make history in many different ways to beat us. I don't want to linger on this too long. We all know how good Pep is. To quote Joni Mitchell, you don't know what... No. Basically, we won't appreciate what a freak he was until he goes. But it does bear repeating when appropriate. So where does this all leave us? All this information? Well, it leaves me feeling this. We are back where we wanted to be. Fact. We are as good as we have ever been. Fact. We're breaking Invincible's records. The club has never been more united or well run. If City get the shiny thing at the end of it because of their greatest ever run, so be it. But you cannot, in fact, you will not, convince me that this season has been a failure if we don't do it, and that I should be down about it if City do. You won't. Instead, we should realise how lucky we are. Not in a thanks for having us way, I want to win the league. But guys, we found one of the next generational managers, not just in the Premier League, but in Europe, 1 appointment after our greatest ever manager. There are new, powerful players in this league and abroad, more money than ever, and we got him. And we also have an ownership who believe in him and gave him time, lucked out on a good relationship with Edu, and found one of the greatest young players in Europe right under our noses, among other things. We could be like United right now. We aren't owed any of this. We could be pining for the past, looking at pictures of Wenger on our lock screens, but instead, we're looking at the future. Instead of looking at what we don't have this season, if we don't win, let's take a step back and look at what we do have. There'll be some people listening to this who say, yeah, fine, big picture's all good, but we just can't get it over the line. What's the problem? And I get that. But in the end, what is a trophy? A shiny silver thing, yes. But you know what I mean. It's a symbol of something, a symbol of a moment coming together, the culmination of hard work, a story's peak. They don't mean anything on their own, stood on the plinth. We attach the meaning to them. I always say this about trophies when children or adults acting like children on the internet use them as a stick to beat Arteta with. How do you think trophies happen? Trophies are just bestowed upon managers that we happen to not employ, are they? And when you get one, you'll finally be happy, will you? You'll never complain about the club ever again. Right? Because you're saying that that's all you want. So if you get it, surely you'll be happy. No, you know you won't be. So you have to look at the other stuff. You get trophies through good football, recruiting well, creating a good club culture, maximizing your resources, and beating other people, among other things. And would you suggest we're not doing most of that stuff pretty well? Like anything in life, you have to focus on the process for the results to come. You can't do it the other way around. Now, are there things we can improve? Of course there are. Those games against Fulham and Villa will haunt me with what ifs till the day I die. We need to develop new dynamics in our forward play. I think we're missing profiles. I think we can manage certain moments better, like the second half against Villa or even the first half against Spurs. There's a time for that discussion and we'll have it, but we're doing all the right things to win trophies. Are you really suggesting we're doing all the wrong things because the trophy didn't happen? Don't let City being robots convince you we did anything other this season than make progress, grow up, evolve, and improve. We've gone right to the wire this time, with almost certainly more goals and more points for starters. Call it copium, I don't care. It's exactly how I feel, and I have to be honest. I won't be sad if we come second, because the processes are there. We will get there, because that's how other teams get there. Look at how special our manager is, how special this team could be, the times we find ourselves in. Glance sideways at what could have been, and who we're up against. And I don't think you should be sad either. I mean, I'm not the emotion police, you can feel what you want, it's just my opinion. And by the way, this is mostly drawing on the worst case scenario from here on out. Next Sunday is a long way away. If you like The Different Knock, you can support us on Patreon monthly, or you can buy us a coffee.